All right, Shalom. Shalom. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakar Kodash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders at Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Hey, I'm my brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another lesson. And it's a quick lesson. It's regarding the MOTB. And I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth about the MOTB. You know, the apostles, starting with the apostles, the bishop elders, and us brothers on down. We have been warning you about the MOTB, which is called the mark of the beast, which is in the Bible, Revelation 13:16 on down, Revelation 14:9 on down. All right? And the time that we're living in is the time in which Yahweh Shah put the spirit on these Edomites and even some of their high up elite bankers to come out and basically tell you what it is, showing you that this whole movie is orchestrated, this world, this life is orchestrated by Yahweh Bashim Shai. And then on the left hand side, he has these Edomites preparing to bring upon the mark of the beast, which is going to ultimately bring on the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. All right. And what I found was two different videos. This video that you see right here in front of you was put up by Apostle Tahar. Well, he had put it on his page, and it's about an hour and a half. About an hour and 8 minute video. Okay, and I'm like 24 minutes in the video, but the guy, his name is Richard Werner. This is not him. You'll see him in a second. His name is Richard Werner. He used to be a banker, and he set up the Bank of Japan over there in obviously in Japan for 12 years. And he wrote a book about it called The Princess of the Yen, which is a documentary that's on YouTube. You can type it in, it's real good. And anyway, long story short, he said something right along the same lines as Aaron Russo. You see Aaron Russo right here, which I'm gonna play that video next. All right, he said something along the same lines, as Aaron Russo right here. And mind you, that Aaron Russo document or interview with Alex Jones came out years before this one that you see here, because this one came out like 2 weeks ago. But Richard Werner, he spoke about the MOTB, saying how that the digital currency is going to be tied into a chip. All right, and the chip is going to give these people ultimate control. So real quick before I get that, this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right. And also this is what's it? Slovakia. Also, this is Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Right. And these Edomites, they say it out of their own mouth. Again, you get these, which Apostle Tahar, did mention that Richard Werner could be one of our people. You know what I'm saying? But he was telling the truth. And he's an advocate against the whole so-called digital system. All right, so without further ado, let me play this real quick.
Important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
Why? Oh, it seems, they write in their report, that European citizens suspect that governments and central banks are just trying to roll this out in order to monitor and control and restrict transactions. Yeah, thank you. Exactly. That's what apparently people think, and they're absolutely right. This is, in fact, the risk, because of course that is the true attraction for central planners in this very powerful technology. It's a technology where you see real time what everyone is doing, where they are, what they're buying. But it's not just about the know-how, the information you get and then can use for
and
all
that's a
sorts
key
of things.
thing. Whereas you have these simpletons, so-called Israelite leaders, who speak against the MOTB, claiming that it's sin, claiming that it's sleeping with the white woman, claiming that it's an embargo, or anything else they can pull out of their ass. The key factor is what? Buying and selling. And Mr. Richard Warner said it right here. Let me take it back just a little bit.
See real time what everyone is doing, where they are, what they're buying. But it's not just about the
right,
know-how,
where
the
they are and what they're buying. Revelation 13 and 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right? And this is the infrastructure for it. You have the blockchain. Y'all saw that movie, They Cloned Tyrone. In the movie, she mentioned that she's done with Bitcoin. She's about to get blockchain. Blockchain is the future. And then they didn't expound upon it no more in that movie. But those are the exact words of one of those economists at the WEF. And she said blockchain is the future. It's a near perfect ledger of accountability. So that's how they're going to tell how much you bought, where you bought it at, your consistency in buying. If you look at some of these bank apps, like I have a bank here in Hawaii that I use, and it tracks my purchases on what type of purchases I'm making, whether I'm making purchases for shopping, whether I'm making purchases for paying bills or something like that. It keeps a ledger of it to show me where my money is going. Well, the blockchain accountable system for the digital currencies that are being pushed, so-called CBDCs, central bank digital currencies that are being pushed, that's going to do that. But how they going to use it to implement it? They claim it's going to be mobile at first, which it may be, but ultimately it's going to go to that chip, that RFID microchip. You're seeing banking institutions getting further and further away from using cash. So let me play this again.
you get, and then can you see real time what everyone is doing, where they are, what they're buying. But it's not just about the know-how, the information you get and then can use for all sorts of things, but it's the power to interfere and intervene. In fact, essentially, you have to think of CBDCs as a control system, not a currency, or a permit system. And again, we're back to the Soviet Union.
And that's exactly what it's about. It's about control. And this is what Aaron Russo said in an interview with Alex Jones.
The Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything.
you sell.
Everything is in there, you know? And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips and they control people. And you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. That's their goal. That's their intentions.
And that's what the control is all about. These super elite want to be the most high. They want to artificially create a blessing that the Israelites are about to have. All right? The true Israelites. And it's all about control. It's not about equity, financial equity, or financial inclusion. It's not about a more stable form of currency. No, it's about control. the way that you operate and buy things today is going to be a thing of the past. All right? And if you go against the grain, they will go against you.
The know-how, the information you get, and then can use for all sorts of things. But it's the power to interfere and intervene. In fact, essentially, you have to think of CBDCs as a control system, not a currency, or a permit system. And again, we're back to the Soviet Union, because you need a permit for everything. May I breathe? Oh, you need a permission. Wait for the commissar to give you approval. Because basically, it's and they write this also in their report. Essentially, the issuer of the CBDC, which is the central bank, has the power to decide whether you can use it now for whatever you want to do. So for whatever you want to do, you have to essentially apply for permission. So it's a conditional currency based on you actually getting that permit. Now, if you happen to be some kind of critic of government policy or a critic of central banks, this could be difficult. Or if you dare to step out of the 15-minute city zone, maybe you'll find that, it's not working. And of course, these are things we've seen already in China. There's plenty of videos where somebody tries to use it to buy a ticket and it doesn't work because his social credit score has fallen below. And of course, there's this other whole big agenda of, they'll come up with excuses why you can't do what you want to do, and they'll never tell you the real reason, but the official reason is likely to be something like, your carbon footprint, which is another, vague concept. And of course, they'll have tools. There's already some tools out there for every bank transaction. You get a carbon CO2 rating or a quantified number. And then if you've used up your carbon budget, you can't use it. And I mean, you can come up with any number of schemes. The point is, the issuer of the CBDC, which is the central bank, has the power, and essentially it's going to be arbitrary power, to say yes or no to what you want to do with what you thought is your money. Well, it's not your money, I'm afraid.
Exactly. And that's the point. They're using economics, money, or what they call money, to control the people, and you're a slave. If you gotta ask permission to do something, if you only allowed to do a limited amount of things with what you earn, guess what? You're a slave. If you gotta ask somebody to do something for you, you're a slave to these people. And they don't just want the Israelites in slavery no more. They want all the people in captivity, man. But we don't care about them other people. It's about the Israelites, man. All right? And we don't belong to you Edomites. We belong to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. I had a precept that came to my head, but I can't remember it. It slipped my mind when this guy was talking about it. But that, the whole system is set up like that. And this, here it is. The Wadi Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Out of the mouth of two or more witnesses, man. Okay? Let everything be established. All right? This is, just bear with me, brothers. Right. This is 2 Corinthians 13:1. This is the third time I am coming to you. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall word be established. In the NLT it says, this is the third time I'm coming to you, visit you. As the scripture says, the fact of every case must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses, man. Yeah, and that's what you saw in this these 2 YouTube videos I posted, with one with Richard Warner 2 weeks ago, and another one with Aaron Russo over 7 years ago. And then, hey, even with myself, bringing this out to you, witnessing this to you, showing you the pattern, showing you that these are 2 different men who were in 2 different periods within the last decade or 2 decades, speaking to high up individuals within the system. Richard Warner being a central bank worker himself, employee himself, and then Aaron Russo was being courted by Nick Rockefeller, a super elite banker, a scion from the banking elite family. And that's the ultimate goal. Okay, so with that, I want to say shalom, on to the next.